Do you want to get your business in front of over 100,000 viewers every month? Advertise with 321 and enjoy the best value in local advertising while supporting free community live streams. Your message will be seen across live high school sports, morning shows, and local events, connecting you directly with engaged audiences, boosting your visibility, growing your brand, and helping us keep these broadcasts accessible to everyone for free. Partner with 321 today and watch your business thrive. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Mindset Mastery with the man, the myth, the banana, Paul Jancarella Jr.
Yes,
How are you?
I'm absolutely. I love that intro. That's fantastic.
The man, the myth, the banana.
The banana. He's
Yeah.
a banana.
Yeah.
Let me tell you this, real quick, because I didn't get a chance to tell you off air.
Mm-hmm.
I parked my car right outside today.
Okay.
First spot there, right?
Good for you.
It used to be B. Smith's out there.
Proud of you.
B. Smith's, I think, moved out like 75 years ago. But anyhow,
Yeah.
I locked it and I took my keys with me, like the keyless thing.
I'm proud of you.
But you know something? I was thinking, why do I have to make that such a point to do that? Like lock your car? Like that's a normal thing for people.
Yeah.
It's as normal as putting on your seatbelt.
Right.
Right?
Yep.
Why do I have to struggle with the fact that, you know why? Because if I get to the car, boop, boop, it unlocks, so I don't even have to get the key out. So now I'm drive the car home. I go home, put my coat in the closet, do my work downstairs, and then I head out to do something or whatever have you. I jump back in the car, and the car won't start. Why? Because I left the key in my coat pocket, my jacket pocket. That's probably why I leave the keys in there, because I don't have to forget that they're in my jacket pocket. But most people, when they get to their car, they'll take them out of their jacket pocket and put it wherever it is so that they put it.
I had an old beater. My first car was a 91 Chevy Lumina.
Okay.
And it was, by the time I went to college and came back from college, because I went to college in New York, so I didn't need a car because I was in the city.
Yeah.
When I came back, it was like, because it hadn't been driven in, a long time. It was such a piece of junk that I literally,
whoa,
Siri, knock it off.
Siri's coming in, huh?
I know.
Tell her I said hi.
Hey Siri, Paulie G from Westerly said hi. So anyway, I would park my car at my parents' house.
Okay.
Leave the keys in the ignition.
Right.
And I wouldn't care. And then one day my dad's car got broken into, and I was like, if they picked the other car,
right, they
could have
driven it away.
They could have taken the car.
Yeah, right.
It was open. It was unlocked. The keys were in the ignition.
Isn't that crazy?
They could have done whatever they wanted. But
yeah, it's funny you share that story, because my friend who went to a Providence College basketball game when it was the Providence Civic Center.
Yep.
Okay, so we're talking the late 80s, I think it was.
Okay.
He parked next to I don't want to say a Lexus, because I don't even know if they were out then, but it was like a BMW and a Mercedes type thing.
Yep.
And his car got stolen, and he locked his car. But you know what it was? The guys would probably needed a quick car to get the heck out of there. And they said, let's just take this one. It's easy to Slim Jim or whatever.
Yep.
And they don't have it. He probably doesn't have a car alarm on it or whatever. So Who knows what it was? But he was dumbfounded.
I've only had something stolen from my car once. I went to the park. I was right down the road here. I was parked in the Michelli's lot. This was years ago, by the way. Westerly's safe. I went to the park. I was going for a walk in the park, and I was parked in the Michelli's lot. And when we came back to my car, from the walk to my car, I noticed that my cell phone charger was sticking out of the bottom of my passenger side door.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's a weird place to leave my cell phone charger.
I would have noticed that.
Yeah, I would have noticed. Where's my phone? My phone was on the center console, plugged in, getting charged, and I forgot it in the car. And somebody came and figured out the way.
Saw that.
Stole my phone. Yeah.
Was the car locked?
I don't remember. Paul.
Yeah.
It was.
But that was a quick grab for them.
65 years ago.
Right, but it was a quick grab for them.
It was, yeah. So I'm assuming that the car probably wasn't locked. But
Oh,
It
that stinks. That's a
yeah.
that like if that happened today, I'd rather have my wallet stolen.
Oh yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
You
I'd
know?
much rather have my take my wallet here.
Right?
Take here. You want this?
And there's $300 in cash as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
Go ahead, take it.
Take it. Take it. This is my life. My
Yep, exactly.
so Jackie was on the phone with my partner was on the phone with like lawyers and stuff the other day, and she had my phone. And so she was on my phone and I'm sitting there next to her, and I'm like, oh, I'm addicted to this thing, because every 5 seconds I'm going like, nope, there's nothing there. There's nothing for me to grab right now.
Yeah.
I'm
It's
phantom going to
instinctually, yeah.
grab. I'm like, oh, okay, there's nothing I need to be paying attention to right now. Let me grab my phone and look at it for a second. Like, just
Ben,
awful.
how about when your leg vibrates and there's no phone in your pocket? That's happened to me before. My phone's on vibrate. I've had my phone, my leg vibrate before, and there's no phone.
Wow.
But that's even crazier. But anyhow, I think we went off the rails right from the start.
We did.
And that's my fault.
Well, okay. So what are we talking about today?
Impression of increase.
What does that mean?
That's what I wanted to ask you. Now, again, I say this with all due respect.
I'll Google it. I have a computer in front of me.
You know what? There's no right or wrong answer, really.
Okay.
When it comes to personal growth and development, there's no right or wrong answer. And what I mean by that, it's whatever makes Ben, whatever makes Sally, Jane, Michael feel good, get ahead, feel successful. So impression of increase, how would you define that if you had to? If I try to give you try to stump you, what would you say? Impression of increase.
So the impression of something sounds like it's not real. Okay. Right. So if I did an impression of something, it's not an actual thing. So my just thought process on impression of increase, I guess, would be well, I think because I'm thinking false impression, right? So I'm thinking a false impression of increase is like peacocking. Some people would say it like, like pretending that pretending that things are increasing when they're really not.
I love that. I love that you said that.
Yeah. So the idea of, some people talk about like the self-help cycle of always learning but never implementing, because reading a book on self-care gives you the impression of increase of self-care when really you're not doing anything for yourself. So that's what when I think of the words impression of increase, I maybe wrongly think negatively about it.
Yeah. Right. Which technically speaking, it is when it comes to personal growth and development, self-improvement, mindset, healthy behavior, it's generally always geared toward a positive manner. However, there are times when it can come across negative, but because you are intellectual, should I say?
Okay.
That's right where you went and where a lot of people sometimes go. I look at it as, I shouldn't say that because I didn't know what it was at all. I didn't even, like I said, impression of increase. Okay. You want to make a good impression. You want to increase the impression. You know what I mean? And the guy's like, yeah. But I didn't know what he's talking about. Impression meaning, are you leaving an impression?
Yes.
Well, you are leaving an impression. Is it positive, negative? Leave an impression of increase, meaning it's going higher, it's going better. Okay. So impression of increase is making people feel valued.
That makes a lot of sense.
Bring the best out of someone, as opposed to saying, this dumb clerk at the drive-thru, can you believe? No, time out. You don't know what's going on back there.
Yep.
You know what I mean? The order got screwed up. Yes. Okay. You think it's her fault or his fault or whatever. It's not. But by being aggravated and irritating, how are you leaving that person? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And that's the point. So in spite of the fact that they messed up your order, are we okay? Anybody hurt? Is that Superman?
Yeah, I just needed to not. I just needed to not have my phone on.
That could have been more important than Paulie G.
Oh, not at all. Not at all.
But maybe it could have added
can
to our
tell by
discussion.
I can also tell by the text tone if it's important or not.
Okay, you got the
Um,
certain ringtone.
Yeah.
So that particularly, that's half of it.
Yep.
Making people feel valued, bringing the best out of someone else or something else. But the second part of that is leaving things better than you found them.
Love that.
So I went into a room because I had to use the bathroom.
I hope it was a bathroom. Hold on. No.
Was there a toilet in there? Yes, there was.
Okay.
And I got the combination.
You went into a room because you needed to use the bathroom.
And
I hope it was a bathroom.
I forgot the combination to the door now, which I guess maybe is a good thing. But anyhow, I went into the bathroom and there was a crumpled up paper towel.
Okay.
Now, I picked it up and threw it away. And my wife would be like, well, did you wash your hands? Yes, I did. After I went to the bathroom, I washed my hands as well. That is just a very small thing of leaving things better than when you found them. Now, listen, any normal person would say, listen, you know, I mean, that's not your bathroom. You don't work here. You don't live here. And you don't know the germs that could be on that. You could get deathly sick. Okay. If it was a $20 bill, do you think I'd leave it on the floor? Think about it.
Right.
I probably would pick it up.
Yeah.
And I would ask if there's someone to drop some money. I would. I found $50 on the road 3 years ago.
That was mine, actually.
You know, I said, this is a win because there's nobody around here. You know what I mean? I said, so I pocketed that. And my spiritual director said, not so fast. The reason why that came into your life is so you can give it away. I said, seriously? She's like, you don't have to give it away. You don't. But that's why it came into your life. So what did I have to do? I didn't have to do anything. I gave it away. I was bummed out, but I said, you know what? That's right. I got to pay it forward. And I felt good about paying that forward. So the point that I'm saying is it's not always the impression of increase if I give because I know I'm going to get something for it. Or I'm hoping I'm going to get something for it. No, that's wrong. Wrong. You have to give because it's the right thing to do. And you're leaving things better than when you found them, or you're making someone feel valued, or you're making them feel better than they did before. That's the whole point of this. You know, I mean, that's why I say my goal, I have a goal, and love is the foundation of my success. I'm not saying it's of your success. Love is the foundation of my success. And when you do what you truly love, I'm talking like, this is my passion. I do it for free. And at times you think you are, you know,
at times you straight up are,
but that passion, money will be a byproduct. It will, if you operate. I'm not saying operate like a knucklehead or a banana, but operate it in the way it should be operated, but do it because you love it. And then the money will follow. Kind of like these actors, entertainers, athletes.
Yep.
You know what I mean? They maybe are doing it for the money, but they're so talented in that's what they're doing. And the money is a byproduct. The endorsements is a byproduct. The speaking engagements that they get at retirement is a byproduct of what they love to do. I'm not saying that's the case for everybody, but for the majority of ultra successful people, that's the case.
Yeah.
That's the case.
Yeah.
So let me give you some examples now. Just today alone. We okay over there?
There's a hair on the microphone.
Well, you know why? You went and saw your buddy Carlos Rios.
I did see Carlos. Yep.
Yep. So that's the only drawback about getting a haircut. Is you got hair everywhere. That's why I know a guy in college, he would have the apron, but he'd be naked under the apron because he decided that he hated getting hair in his clothes.
Yeah.
I said, you can't have pants on, buddy. I said, seriously? He's like, I just don't want hair around me. I said, okay, well, we'll end there. So moving forward to today, I was at breakfast meeting with my 97-year-old friend, church buddy, and another church buddy. And I got a phone call, and it was from my sister. So I said, hang on a second, guys. They were talking. So I said, hello, what's going on? She's like, where are you? I said, I'm at breakfast. She's like, oh, when do you think you'll be home? I said, I don't know, half hour, 45 minutes. What's going on? She's like, I got to leave for school 8:35 because my sister's a teacher. I said, okay. I said, I can get there by 8:30. She's like, all right, great. Because the furniture guys are coming. They said they'll be here by 9. And they're going to not be here, when I'm here. And I said, no problem. I'll get there. So sure enough, I got there 5 minutes after I got there. Boom, truck pulled up. I said, oh, beautiful. It's 8:35. And I started talking to the guy. His name was Lou. The other guy was Arlino. That's how I am. I got to know everybody's name and talk to them, this, that, and they were great guys. They were good guys. They took the table that my sister was giving back because it was scratched, and I had to have the responsibility of making sure there was no scratches on the new one. Well, to me, everything looks good. I'm like, everything's fine. So, we went through it, opened the drawers, this, that, and the other thing. Everything was fine. So they took the table and brought it into the house. Now I go into my pocket to give them a tip. I said, I'm not tipping these guys. I said, it's not even my house. I said, plus, I'm not even where I want to be financially. See how I'm making excuses? This is split-second excuses. I'm talking as I'm putting my hand into my pocket. Those two things came to mind. You don't need to give a tip. It's not your house. It's Colleen. It's your sister's house. And you don't have the wherewithal to give them a tip. And what Bob Proctor says, my mentor, God rest his soul, if you're not philanthropic now, you're not going to be philanthropic later, even if you're making 10 times the amount of income. You might be the same type of person you are now, just on that same degree. So I reached into the pocket and I grabbed a 20. I said, $20. And then I thought to myself, if I was making $1.2 million a year, would I be griping about $20? I'd probably grab $60 for the guys. So now I say to myself, as I give them the 20, I say, hey guys, get a sandwich. And you're probably not going to be able to get 2 of them because it's only $20. That's where we are right now in society. You know what I mean? You go get a couple sandwiches. You can't even, it's going to be over $20. So the point was, they were appreciative of that. They said, oh my goodness, thanks a lot. Appreciate it. So do you think I left them better off than when I found them? Well, I sure hope so, because they probably said to themselves, man, this guy talks a lot, but he gave us $20. So that to me is the trade-off, maybe. You know what I mean? I was a friendly guy or whatever, but maybe they didn't want to hear a friendly guy. But I gave them what they maybe weren't expecting.
Right.
So to me, that's an example of the impression of increase, and it's not to toot my own horn, because I'm telling you my humility of my struggle of saying, I'm not going to give these guys any money, this, that, and I find myself doing that with a number of things, but you have to get the perception changed. Okay. So let me take you from here and let me bring you down the road. Okay. To May 2nd. May 2nd of this year, Mel Robbins, she happens to be a very informed, entrepreneurial, and a very talented person in the field of personal growth and development, self-help, really relationship-wise.
The 5-second rule.
Yes,
the let them
exactly.
theory,
Yep.
yeah.
She's got a new book out, Let Them.
Yep.
If someone's going to be a jerk or this or that, just let them. Don't worry about it. Let people be who they are.
Yep.
So, and that's a great concept. It's a great book. So, and I say that without having read that, but I've listened to Mel Robbins enough to know where she's coming from. So my wife said to me a few weeks ago, do you know who Mel Robbins is? I said, of course I do. I've listened to her before. She's not on my playlist, but I know who she is. I've listened to, I've heard a podcast or whatever. And my wife's like, yeah, she's incredible. I said, really? She's like, yeah. And she started going into all this stuff. My wife has never once asked me, who is Bob Proctor? Who's Tony Robbins? Who's Jim Rohn? What do you do, Paul? What's going on? So I said, instead of getting upset, I said, this is my message to connect with my wife on a good note, So now she says to me, she's reading the book. She says to me, Mel Robbins. I said, yeah, she's coming out with a tour dates or whatever. She went one step further. She said, she's coming out with her tour. Guess how much the tickets are? I said, I don't know, $150. She's like, $435. She's like, I'm not going. And I was silent for a few seconds. And then I said, Betty, how much is your personal growth worth? And she said to me, not worth $435. And that's where my wife is. I can't get upset by that. So I said, all right, no problem. She texted me this morning on my way here. I parked the car. I was a little early. I checked the text. She said, two of my girlfriends from college are going, and I'm going with them. I said, whoa. She's like, we got tickets for $99. And I said, isn't that interesting how your justification of your personal growth and development hinges on a cost? She's like, yeah, well, I wasn't willing to pay $435. I was willing to pay $150. So God saved me $51. I said, he certainly did. And through his grace, you'll be going there and you get to have dinner and spend the night with two of your college roommates. How good is that? She's like, oh, it's fantastic. Now, I say that to say this. If my wife knew that I spent $50,000 on personal growth and development, she would be absolutely over the moon, bananas, upset with me. So why do I say that on a podcast that she could probably hear and listen to? Number one, she'd never, and I say never listens to me on camera. She won't. It's bad enough she has to listen to me in person at home. She doesn't want to listen to me be an elector at church. She doesn't want to listen to my podcast, my videos, my talk show, any of that stuff. She doesn't want to have anything to do with it. And it's similar to my friend in 2002, was married for 2 years and had Christmas presents for his wife. And he says, you'll never believe where I hid him. She'll never find him. And I said, where's that? He's like, in the oven. I said, what? He's like, oh yeah, I put them all in the oven. I opened the oven, put all of Christmas, and guess what? She didn't find them because his wife didn't cook. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's just so funny. He's like, the best place ever is in the oven. You know what I mean? Well, you know, that's kind of like me with my wife. So my point that I'm making here, folks, is it's not wrong or right to spend $50,000 a year in personal development, or it's not wrong or right to not go to a event because it costs more than you're willing to pay. But you also have to understand this, Ben, and listen to me here. How important is it for you to have X, Y, or Z as far as a material good? You have that. Most of us, most of the human beings on this planet don't look at themselves as a resource that we need to feed, water, fertilize, and benefit. But that's the working organism that we need to invest in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I embrace this material and I am so in love with it that I'm willing to do it for free. But you know what? I get paid handsomely for it at times.
Right.
At other times, I'm doing it for free, and you think I'm upset? No, because I want this to sink into the people. I want them to embrace that.
Yep.
I learned this material in 1994. I learned this material on a higher level in 2017. Well, then why did I land myself in a psychiatric hospital in 2018? And why did I go back to that same psychiatric hospital? Oh, it was actually a different one. Why did I go back to a different one in 2019? Because I wasn't straight up here. I wasn't thinking right. Yes, I had a chemical imbalance. Yes, this or that. But that was all derived from my thought process. So now that I've embraced this material, now I'm close to it. It's kind of like, do you know Jesus Christ? Yeah, of course I know who he is. Well, do you know who he is? Do you know him? Meaning, do you feel him? Do you know your spouse? Do you know your romantic partner? Yeah, of course I know who she is. And yes, I feel great about that. But that's what I'm saying. Be emotional about what you love. That's where you're going. You know, I can better my marriage in a heartbeat by what I do only. I can. But I can also be too proud to say, she doesn't do this or that. I'm not doing that. Screw that, you know. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
But when you give it the 100%, and I don't care what she does because she does so much for me, that will strengthen the relationship. And my wife said to me the other day, she heard me saying this. She's like, just so you know, you haven't strengthened this relationship a bit. You know, because she's a bull buster too. You know what I mean? I said, oh yeah, Betty, you want to go to the mat on that? You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
it's true. You know what I mean? You can't be arrogant.
Yeah.
But you can be aware. You know what I mean? You can be self-centered in a good way.
Yep.
And that's what I'm trying to convey to people, is that we need to take care of this person first. A happy and jovial Paul Jancarella, who's a banana, it leaves a better increase than a Paul Jancarella that's a jerk, that some people would say a D-bag, you know, or an a-hole.
Yeah.
And I've been all of those.
Yeah.
So my point is, I'm sharing this with you and sharing my humility and my jerkness to say I'm trying to become better.
Mm-hmm.
Always. You know what I mean? You should have saw me 30 years ago. You know what I mean? I wasn't the best of a person. And you might see, like, what are you talking about? You went to church 30 years ago every day. I was going to church every single day after college, 1995, every single day. And then on the weekends, I would be such a total opposite. I would be a drunkard. I'd be a carouser. It was crazy. You know, and that wasn't right.
Right.
You know, but that's what we did. You know what I mean? And that's something that you learn from that. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So now because I know the way my kid is, I know the way that I was, should I give my kid condoms and beer and stuff because that's what I did? I want to make sure he's safe. You know what I mean? That to me is crazy, but that's me. Someone else may have a total different the philosophy on it. So be it, fine. The point is, whatever my beliefs are, and I convey them, if it's offensive to someone, then yes, they're wrong. They are. If I share my religious beliefs that upset someone that's Jewish, Muslim, agnostic, atheist, well, then why would you say that, Paul? You know what I mean? The intent can't be to be malicious or to upset someone. You know what I mean? If I share my faith that I happen to be a passionate Catholic, and I say passionate Catholic because I'm a passionate sinner, unfortunately, as well. And I do things that, you know, I shouldn't do. And you could call me on the carpet and say, like, what? Well, you know what? In my mind, saying, oh, what a jerk. What the hell are you doing? Why am I even thinking that? Why am I thinking that, though? But that's wrong. Because they're not doing something the way I want it to be done, or what, you know what I mean? So most of my sins, it doesn't even come out of my mouth or my actions, you know? And that's the thing. That's the impression of increase. So you're in a busy sidewalk and you see some person being a jerk or whatever, pray for that person, send positive energy to that person, as opposed to negative thoughts and vengeful thoughts, because whatever we put out comes back to us. It's a law. It's like the law of gravity. You drop something, it falls down. It doesn't fall up. You know, and that's kind of where I am today, that I'm like, wow, these little things happen. Little things happen, but that's all part of the equation. God, in my opinion, my intuition he's put that there. He put those two delivery guys there today on purpose, as a test for me. And you know what? I failed the test number of times. I was getting ready to go on a podcast as a guest. Guy was out of California. Doesn't matter. He was a big pro-motivational person. And the guest before him was abused and made fun of all throughout elementary school and high school. You know, kids would pick on him, and I forget for whatever it was. And he said to me on air, he's like, can you believe what that guy had to endure? And I said to him, it's just awful. And he's like, why, have you been picked on as a kid? I said, no, but I look back on my life in that guy's situation. I was the bully. He's like, what? I said, I was. I was like the cool kid, friends with everybody, this and that. But I would make fun of someone else to get everybody to laugh. And they did. But do you think the guy I was picking on was laughing? No, I probably traumatized the person. There was a kid named Sam, Sam Newstein. He died in 1985, maybe 86. And I remember walking through the cafeteria because I was in the 8th grade at the time, and he was in 7th grade. He passed away of, I don't know if it wasn't cancer, but it was something, he had an ailment. And everybody was crying. And I'm like, what's everybody just crying about? They're like, oh, Sam Newstein died. I said, Sam Newstein? They said, yeah, Sam, you know. I'm like, yeah, I know who he is. He was on my baseball team. You know what? I used to pick on that kid all the time. Pick on him. Bad. These are little things. It was just little things. They go a long way, you know.
Yeah.
So that's where I reflect sometimes. Is like, holy crap. You know, I've done so much good. Oh, yeah? Let's think of these stories. I'm like, yeah, you know, you're right. I was the bully. And the guy was absolutely dumbfounded, the host. He's like, oh my goodness. But I said, listen, I'm being real with you. I said, I don't consider myself a bully, but we've all been there. And we were all, you know, that villain in the movie at one time or another. Yeah. And I said, that's where this impression of increase, Ben, has really made a difference in my life. So I am sure to hang up the phone with a customer service rep from a credit card company, thanking them for their professionalism, their good behavior, and their knowledge. And thanks for being just kind.
Yeah. Leave people better than you found them.
Yes.
It's the whole purpose.
And it's not superficial. It's not flattery. If the person was being rude or whatever, I just wouldn't say that then. I wouldn't give them a compliment, but I try to find something good in the conversation. So I'm glad you appreciate, and I'm glad you understand where I'm coming from.
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
You know?
I want to end on you mentioned Mel Robbins quite a bit in the middle of part of this. I want to and I know something about Mel Robbins that is interesting. So I want to talk about it for a second because I think that you'll find this fun. And someone who really lives by the impression of increase, wanting to leave her listeners, her readers, etc., better than when they came in. And also we talked about manifesting last week and whatever. This is a Facebook post from Mel Robbins 7 years ago.
7 years ago. Okay.
7 years ago.
2009 was when she hit rock bottom. I think.
Yes. So this is 7 years ago. This was 2018.
Yep.
And it says, and the first thing is 2 years ago. So 9 years ago. 2 years ago, Chris and I were exploring the Rhode Island coast with a friend when we passed a block of 8 gorgeous turn-of-the-century shingled houses on the right of the ocean in a cool little community. That's Watch Hill. Yeah. I turned to Chris and our friend and stated, Chris and I are going to rent one of these houses in a few years. Chris replied, you're nuts. He is right. I am nuts. I am nuts enough to state what I want. That's because I know you must first state it out loud to create it in real life. It took us 2 years, but we did rent one of those houses for a few magical weeks this past July. To make it even cooler, we were the first people the owners had ever rented their home to. I am now stating that we are going to go back next summer. You must state it to create it. It's more than a phrase. There's science behind it. Google the Zeigarnik effect, and you'll learn once you state it, your brain will help you spot the signs that make you create it in real life. Which brings me to you. Now that you've read this post, stop for a second, etc. Right? So I saw a post of hers last year and went, "Oh, that's Watch Hill." I can just tell that she's in Watch Hill, like behind her.
The ocean to the right is Watch Hill.
It wasn't even, no. It was literally just the house. Like it was just the backyard of the house. And I was like, that's Watch Hill. Like it has a look to it, right?
Of course.
I don't know that this is like, I'm fairly certain that she now lives
She's
not full time.
She's from that area.
But she has a house in Watch Hill now.
She does?
Oh yeah. But yeah, Mel Robbins. So
I love that.
So, we'll just adopt her as a Westerly native as we do for everybody.
Yeah,
exactly. People.
That's great that you shared that because I'm thinking in my head that if I wanted to buy a new Toyota Camry, but it's got to be white, it's got to be this, that, You know what I'm going to see on the road? I'm going to be spotting that subconsciously. I'm going to see all the white cars and then feed out the ones that are Camrys.
Yeah.
That's what she's talking about here with their goal. She's planted the seed. Once you plant the seed, you have to water it and fertilize it. If you don't water and fertilize it, it may not grow. It might, but it's not going to grow the way it should unless you water and fertilize it. And I love that she shared that because she's just planting it. And that's what when you do that to your brain, that's what you look for. You know what I mean? When I got a Mazda Millennia, there were not many Mazda Millennias out there, but I would make sure to see one if I saw one. And
right.
I did. So I love that you shared that post. That's great.
Yeah. I'm like 99% sure that
we're going to do some fact checking.
Yeah. Okay. It's not public knowledge. Don't go harass people in Watch Hill. But
my wife, if she gets a chance to meet her, she should say something.
Yeah, I mean, keep going to breakfast in the, when Cooked Goose comes back,
right,
go to the Cooked Goose all summer. Probably see her. Honestly, I mean, there's a good chance.
Or Olympia Tea Room.
Olympia Tea Room. Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
So
good stuff.
Awesome. Paul, how do you want to end?
I want to end by not speaking.
Love it.
Listen. Don't speak sometimes. That's what I have to practice.
I love it. You can click coachmindsetmastery.com in the description of this episode and check out everything Paul's got to offer. And we'll see you guys soon. Thank you so much. Bye for now. Do you want to get your business in front of over 100,000 viewers every month? Advertise with 321 and enjoy the best value in local advertising while supporting free community live streams. Your message will be seen across live high school sports, morning shows, and local events, connecting you directly with engaged audiences, boosting your visibility, growing your brand, and helping us keep these broadcasts accessible to everyone for free. Partner with 321 today and watch your business thrive.